Good evening, everyone, and forever you will shine. We're going to have another evening, and we're going to talk about paint correction and ceramic coatings. With us tonight is my good friend Nathan Kistler from Dr. Details in Manchester, Tennessee. Once again, how you doing, Nathan?
Good, Joseph. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
It was a quick 2 weeks. We've been super busy, and I heard you have been incredibly busy as well. And when we're busy, the time flies on by.
It does. It does. I'm a little weary, but you can't keep an old detailer down. You know,
That's right.
that's right. We never lose our shine. We may go bald. Well, look, we never lose our shine. Here we go.
I,
Bald head,
I'm
shiny.
with you.
There you go.
I'm with you.
Show off that bald crap. Come on. There you go.
I always say, bald is beautiful. God only made so many perfect heads. The rest have hair.
That's right. That's right. So this is where I used to just get thrown out. They used to just grab me. It's like, here, get rid of them. That's why I lost my hair.
That's how it all
They
just
kept grabbing me by my hair and throwing me out the door. Say,
it was
go
all
out and
pulled
play.
out. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
all pulled out.
Yeah. I was bald by the time I was 12.
Oh, did you do any corrections this week? Any coatings?
I did. Actually a 2020 GMC. We did have to do a paint correction on it because
On a brand new truck.
it looked like, I don't know, they washed it with a broom. It was kind of messed up, and it had some deep digs on it, so it was about a half dozen spots I had to do a little bit of extra tweaking to get the scratches off.
It was from dealer prep. Is that what it was?
Dealer prep. It might have been on the lot in the wintertime, and they scraped the snow off it or whatever they did. I don't know what they did.
Right.
But this client's been with us. This is the third vehicle that they've coated with us in 2 years. And he loves it. He doesn't drive the truck much. But it's just, he pulls his boat with it, and he just loves the way it looks.
Yeah.
But you put a ceramic coating on, it's going to show up. It's going to pop that stuff out. And then on the other side of that, we looked at a 2019 Audi that was supposed to have been ceramic coated at the dealer, and it had all kinds of water spots all over it, and they had that lifetime warranty, so it had water spots. I don't think so. Based on my experience, since these coatings have been out, I would say half of all the cars that got the stickers on, or people say that they got them ceramic coated, don't get coated at all. Because I have a client that's on a maintenance program with me, and this is their second car that they bought from the same dealership. And they said, oh, they threw the ceramic coating in with the price of the car. I says, okay.
Oh, gosh.
It's never been ceramic coated.
No.
And she's taken it back 3 times, and they never coat it. Or whatever they do, but the water just runs right off of it.
They're putting an SiO2 spray on it. That's probably their version of a coating.
They're just not doing. Yeah, but it's got that sticker in the window. So, I don't know. I tell people not to buy that stuff. I don't recommend doing that. And so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what is paint correction. I mean, how many corrections do you really do? If you're talking about like bringing the car back in, how many do you really get?
I probably do a few corrections a month. Probably a few corrections a month. And to understand really what a correction is for anyone watching, a paint correction is when you're removing defects from the paint without jeopardizing the paint system. So it can be marring from washing the car. It can be ribs, which are just random deeper scratches. Anything that's deep into the clear coat and paint system. So there can be a lot of confusion, which we're going to go over, obviously.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this is gated for the consumers. You know, the consumer, there's a lot of confusion out there. I kind of like, and I've been saying this to people lately, you know, they come in and I'm just going to speak the same language that I speak to my clients on a daily basis when they come down here. It's like, remember the days when you just went to the store and you said, your wife would say, could you go get some milk and eggs? And so the eggs, you had small, medium, and large. And you just had a dozen. They were in dozen. They were just a dozen eggs, small, medium, and large.
Yeah.
And you'd get milk. And so you didn't have raw milk. You can get that in the store because it's illegal in town. It's illegal everywhere, you know, for the most part. In the grocery store, they don't keep it. But you can get it in places around here in Connecticut, Tennessee, you can't get it at all. But you'd buy milk. So you'd have regular homogenized milk, and then you'd have 2% milk. And then something happened, and then we went to 1% milk, and then, I don't know, almond milk, moo cow, something milk, you name it, milk. I look in the milk aisle, I'm like, my God. So, and detailing and all that has kind of gotten that way too. And there's a lot of confusion. And so I want to clear that up here.
Yeah.
So paint correction. I mean, realistically, if we say correct paint, I'm probably doing like 3 or 4 a month where I'm doing you would just say an elevated buffing job.
Right.
Now that I know out there are detailers that would say paint correction, you make the car as perfect as possible.
Right.
Well, most people don't really want that. Another thing too is I don't like to push that stuff because you have to think about the environments you're in. We're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay, so the roads are kind of rough and you can't get some lousy winters. There's a lot of junk out there. And
Right.
so if it's a daily driver, you know, I'm a practical person. So I kind of look at my clients' cars the way I would look at my own cars.
Sure.
But paint correction, what is really paint correction? Well, paint correction could be the percentage that you're fixing that paint.
Mm-hmm.
So the first level of actually quality buffing, that would be putting all the product on and taking it off with an intermediate polishing pad and an intermediate polishing compound.
That's right.
Typically about 2.5 hours, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
Rarely
maybe a little more.
Maybe a little more, but not much.
Yeah.
Now, well, it depends. If it's a harder paint, like say if it's you get a European car, well, maybe 3 hours, 3 hours and 15 minutes, but the charge is going to reflect that anyway.
Sure.
Okay, that's the way we do it. We evaluate it, and then the charge will reflect that.
Mm-hmm.
The additional work because your hand's going to move a little slower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you're going to use something a little bit more restrictive. The pads, as I did a video, is on my website. The pads, and you can tell by the density of that pad.
Sure. You have to think of pads like different grits of sandpaper. You have extremely soft pads. You have extremely coarse pads.
Yep, and a pad that is meant to cut is going to restrict your movement anyway. Right. You can't do this. It's not going to let you. It's going to skip around. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to move. Our hand speed's going to slow down. Our boxes are going to get more narrow. But going back to if you take a car and you just take it middle of the road, that's going to correct most paints 35 to 45% just by default of doing it properly.
And this is where I always like to use the word enhancement, because it will enhance the paint. It's going to remove quite a bit of defects. It's going to remove the oxidization and enhance the paint. It may not correct it to 70, 80, 90%, of course, but for a daily driver, it's going to make it look 100 times better.
Yeah, mostly what we're removing is the washing and toweling scratches,
Right.
and then some of the minor defects that haven't penetrated down deep into the clear.
Mm-hmm.
And, paint corrections, most of the paint corrections that I do, I'm going to stop at 70%. That's all I'm going to tell. Look, if we go there, high 90s percentile,
Yeah.
or 90 something percentile. I don't know what it is, but it's high. They're good right there.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, I mean, you're showing the cars. It's something special. But most of these are daily drivers. And even on some of the Sunday drivers, they're good with it. They're not looking at it like that.
Yes.
And realistically, I end up at a lot of times 80% or so just by doing that. But I don't take, I don't promise them the moon, because people are very, very happy right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so paint correction is the defects that we're removing from the surface of the car. Now, one thing that's important too is I don't like to push paint corrections as well. We just like to do some nice solid polishing to the car.
Yes.
Sometimes we need to use multiple polishers. We can have different sizes so that I call it pad specific. Mm-hmm. So, you think of an A-pillar or the side view mirrors, you can use a 3 or a 4-inch pad, and you can very specifically, that pad makes complete contact with the surface. Mm-hmm. And so
I'm big on the Nano too. I love the Nano.
Yeah.
It's very versatile.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Getting into the front ends, you get some of the front ends, they're all cut up. You get an Audi, it's all cut up in the front end. Yeah. You can get in there with you got your polisher, you can put a 3-inch, 4-inch pad on that. You can get your little Nano, you got your little 1 or 2 inch. So if you're going to polish it out nice, it all looks nice and even.
Yeah.
And then you put your whatever protection they want right over top of that.
Love it. So, it's fun to do.
And paint corrections too is when you're really getting into, when you start getting into a level of, really you start getting beyond 50%, you are really removing some of that clear coat.
Definitely.
Below that, we're really not doing anything. We're really not, removing anything that's significant. A lot of times we're removing oxidation, and we're removing, dirt that's still lodged into the clear, and it's removing those light washing and toweling scratches, and it's popping out the shine because it's reflecting more light into the surface.
Yes.
And that's really what the majority of people truly want.
Yeah, less defects, more reflection.
Correct. When you start getting, and then we do a lot isolated, like if there's a bad blemish on the hood, we do a lot of isolations. Where, yes, I'll do a paint correction. Oh, that spot on the door.
On the spot.
Yeah, that
or
bird.
On the fender.
Yeah, that bird dropping got on the hood of the car, or that scratch on the fender. I'm isolating, something that's jumping off the page, and that once again is what most people want. If it's jumping off the page, and you can see that at 4 feet, they typically want that out, or if it's right there on the door. Every time you go in the door, it's bugs somebody.
You see it.
They want it out. Yeah, even if you see it at 5 inches, I want that off.
Right.
So we do those. So we do a lot of those. I do a lot. I don't even know how many I do a month. A lot of isolated defects.
Yep, we do as well.
So, but once you start doing it, or start getting into true paint corrections, you are abrading clear coat off of the car. There are limitations to that. And in the long run, you can't just keep doing that, because it's not going to last. The clear is not going to hold up.
That's right.
And also the clear can only take so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll just end up, like you were saying, you'll end up just down the road having clear coat failure a few years down the road. We've had people come in and they want to, book a full-on correction twice a year. And we have to say, hey, you don't understand what this is going to do to your paint system. And we obviously, at every attempt, try to talk them into just more of an enhancement once a year, followed by maintenance. So people have to understand that correction can make your car look great, but can also do a lot of damage as well. So you just have to be very careful, especially in today's paint systems.
Yeah, I get a lot of people just come down and they just say, I want a paint correction and ceramic coating, and they don't even realize what they just repeated some advertising they heard.
Yeah. They just want their car to look good.
Yeah, and that's really, yeah, you're right. That is exactly what they want. They want the car to
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah.
And so I take the time to explain what a paint correction really is. And, and realistically, when I get into it, half of the people don't want that. They want the other. And then the other half that do want it, they want to get the car in shape. And then from there, then they take care of it. So like one of my clients, he goes, yeah, you keep it at 0 then. You got it to this level. And now if you maintain it, you keep it at 0. And when you come back in 6 months or a year, it's not all that money again. Sometimes it can just be decontaminating it and putting protection right back on top of it.
Exactly.
Because it has faded now. Even the shine of the car is faded a little bit, but it hasn't faded out. Your eye can't even keep up with it. It takes a while. It usually takes a couple of years at least.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, we have a client. They're on a maintenance program with us like every 3 months. So we did a big job on the paint. So we did a paint correction. We got it into, 60, 70% correction, put the protection on. And so they come every 3 months. They wash it themselves. Every 2 or 3 weeks, they actually wash it. In the wintertime, they take it to the car wash that I recommend, which is Uncasville Quick Lube and Car Wash right here in Uncasville. So go down. They do a great job down there. They take looking after the place. But so they go there in the wintertime. And now after 2 years, now we're going to polish it. We're going to give it a little polish. And then put the protection back on. It's not even going to be...
Bring the brightness back. Yeah, just bring the brightness back.
It's not even going to be the same. And we may not have even done that, but the reason was we got into this COVID thing, and they missed their entire... it messed everything up because their schedule got messed up. So we were supposed to see them in March. We're now seeing them in July. Yeah. They've been washing the vehicle, but this whole thing just kind of altered some people's schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but washing it regularly is vital as far as the finish of the vehicle is concerned.
It's like brushing and flossing.
Yeah, I stress that to everyone that one thing that messes cars up faster than anything is contaminants just being baked in and baked in and baked into the car because it's never washed. That's the cause of the whole process to begin with. So if people just wash their cars regularly, they can avoid, they don't have to be concerned about corrections in the long run.
Yeah, no, my recommendation, like when I polish your car, it's really going to be really more like butter in the bread. I'll decontaminate it. And it's going to be more like putting butter on bread. I'll be able to move through this very quickly and just give it a light polish out. Clean up and brighten it up, and then put the protection on, and we're going to go another couple years easy. And just because we just do the maintenance, they come in, I do a light decontamination, I put a little bit of sealant on it. We do what we do inside. The big thing is me keeping up with the wheels and stuff like that. Some of the little detail areas, keeping them cleared out and protected for her. But that's really about all there is to it. And like when I talk about our customers, we say, look, every 2 or 3 weeks, whether it needs it or not, inside of a month, rain, sleet, or snow, 35 degrees and up, wash it.
Wash it.
And the way I explain it too is like, it's no different than you have a meal, you brush your teeth. So brush and floss. If you don't do that, you want to wait 3 days, we know where this goes, right?
Yeah.
The car isn't any different. Or the floor in your house. If you don't sweep it off, maybe once a week and maybe mop it down from the dirt, well, we know where that goes.
It's a good way to put it.
The floor wears out.
Yeah, same thing,
Same thing happens to the car. So I use analogies with my clients, and I'll talk to them when I talk about the prep process. It's no different than if you were going to finish a piece of wood or paint the wall. You have to take all the dirt and the contamination away. We have to prepare the surface. Now we can polish the car.
Yep. And there's a lot more to it than people think. That's the thing. If they watch the process and realize how long it really does take, a lot of people are under the assumption that, they drop off their keys and their car's ready an hour later. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Well, if you got,
it
you
could
know,
be
if
an
you got
all-day
4
thing.
people all at the same time doing it, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
A lot
But
of
there,
lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of tools, a lot of products. Uh,
yeah,
go into it
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Well, we'll have to do a live sometime and just show them us working.
Yeah,
Actually, I remember
yeah.
back in the early days. I think it was in the 80s when I first opened, and I was out here, and I remember I had a Lincoln in my garage, and so I went out, and it was probably like 7 o'clock at night. I decided I wanted to just tear into this guy's Lincoln and do it, and my buddies were over, and I'm polishing away on this thing, and they're all talking and drinking beer. They got tired watching me and left. They were like, "How do you do that?" I was like,
But yeah,
"Like this."
yeah,
They,
yeah.
they didn't realize how much went into
Yeah.
that.
People don't.
You
They
know,
really don't.
they
But you're
really
right.
did.
On one show, we'll have to set it up to where we just kind of just do a live video,
Yeah,
polishing a panel. Yeah, that would be
yeah.
awesome.
So that's what paint correction's about. So it's really just quality polishing, and people, you do not want your car paint corrected all the time. Maybe once, and definitely not a brand new car unless they took a broom to it.
Yeah, which
Like
has
they did
happened.
this pickup truck. It looked like they took a broom to it.
Yeah. Or
So, and
maybe, a lot of people use those synthetic wool wash mitts and they don't wet their car first. They just,
yeah,
they
yeah,
dunk it in the bucket and just start going. And
yeah.
that's just a big
Well, this
no-no.
guy got it like this. He got a good deal on it. I mean, it's a hell of an expensive truck. But I don't even know is there an inexpensive truck?
No
So
such.
I don't think there is such thing anymore. Farmer can't get one now.
Yeah.
But the this truck, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the way they cleaned it, there wasn't much snow up here in Connecticut, but I don't know. It's the way it came from the dealer because he didn't have it too long, and he came up here and he showed it to me, and we looked at it, and I went, okay. And he says it does have some defects on it, and there were some pretty nasty defects.
There's always 9 times out of 10 there's defects on new cars.
Yeah, yeah. But these were like definite, like, oops, with the wrong something,
Yeah.
gouge
Oops,
defects.
defects. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we did some heavy duty work in those half dozen or so areas and fixed it up. So now it looks like a 2020. It's out sitting in my garage, and I'll probably give it back to them Saturday morning. So it's
Awesome.
curing up, and that's about it. I just gotta dust it off or something. It's
Yeah.
done. So let's talk about ceramic coatings. Now this is one area.
Coatings.
How many? What do you tell us about? How do you feel about coatings?
I think for the right consumer, they're a great thing. I don't think they're for everybody. I think I want to respectfully put this, but I think they're somewhat overrated. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I think they're marketed to be for everybody. They're marketed to be bulletproof. They're marketed as if they don't need any maintenance, which all those things are false. They're not bulletproof. If you have a coating and you're on the interstate and you're behind a rock truck and he flings up a rock at 80 miles an hour, it's not going to prevent a scratch or a ding on your car. It's not going to. If somebody wants to key your car, they're going to key your car.
Yep.
I just always try to educate my customers, let them know exactly what it's all about, and just let them make their own buying decision. We've done quite a few. Matter of fact, we have 4 lined up in the next 3 weeks. Like I said, it's not for everybody, but it is for some.
Yeah, it is for some. I would agree with you. I would say that they're a product that's oversold.
Right.
Like if you grab the wrong towel, it will put marring scratches in that coating.
Yes.
Grab a cotton towel. You know, coarse
Yes.
cotton towel. Start wiping it. Just scratch the coating.
Coatings can be etched just like a clear coat can be etched. You know, so it's so important to understand that if you do purchase a coating, you need to understand the maintenance aspect as well. I mean, there is maintenance that needs to be performed, and washing the car correctly is vital.
Yes.
You know, as far as
Yeah.
longevity, the appearance, everything.
Yeah. I mean, there are, you know, a little bit more chemical resistant. But the way I present them to people is that, you know, because I actually had a black Honda CRV,
Uh-huh.
and we put one of those 9H coatings on it, and my wife and I were at the beach, and I had coated all the panels different on. I did different coatings all over, and I tested it. But we were at the beach. It was 85, 90 degrees one day.
Uh-huh.
We were walking across the parking lot, and a seagull dropped a big heater on top of our black Honda, and I saw the smoke roll off.
Seagulls are the worst.
And
I mean,
I said,
that
I
stuff
said,
will eat through your paint in a heartbeat.
I know. I said, hey, honey, I says, I wonder how that coating took the hit. And this was one of them high-level, well-known brands. Lots of detailers use them. It says it's chemical resistant to pH 13. Didn't work out like that for us.
Here's where people get confused. If you read the writing on any coating, okay, doesn't matter what the brand, they're all going to say resistance, okay? And I tell people, think of it like a good watch. You have water resistant and waterproof. Resistant and proof are not the same thing.
No,
so
they're not.
Resistant is basically saying, hey, it's still susceptible to in this particular situation. Yeah. They're not proof.
They're putting it's on the fence.
Yeah, exactly. But when when you're reading it quickly, you're reading it through. Like if I want to get a watch that says, oh, it's water resistant to 100 meters, okay, great. But it's not waterproof.
Yeah. Yeah. So coatings, a lot of times, the coatings, what I tell people is that here's what a coating will do for you. It will give you immense amount of UV block.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I am quick to say this. We're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So what do we get for UV? I don't know, 30, 45 days a year.
Right.
We're not in Nevada. We're not in Florida. We're in Connecticut.
That's right.
So polymer paint.
Does it matter? Question mark?
Not that much here, no.
Yeah.
It's 30, 45 days.
Yeah.
You get
but still a great feature of a coating.
It is a great feature. It gives you more UV block, but what does do ease of maintenance. If we get, you got a good pressure garden hose with a good fan spray on it. Man,
there's nothing better.
It blows the dirt right off. The bugs come right off.
When you do wash it, I mean, it takes no effort to wipe something off.
Yeah, it stays cleaner
what
longer.
I love.
Stays cleaner longer.
Yes.
So it looks nicer longer.
Yes.
And
the number one, I would put that as the number one. Sorry to cut you off, Joe. The number one benefit of a coating is ease of maintenance. That's it. I mean, that is the number one benefit in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. And then I would say, and the customers love that.
Yeah.
I think that for me, the two are kind of equal. And then it pops to shine. So it looks like candy.
Yeah.
You talk about the way that looks, the paint that looks on that.
Yeah.
It looks just like candy.
It's incredible. Yeah.
That truck I got down there looks like black licorice.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like, you're just like, wow. I haven't even posted the pictures. Yeah. But I took a picture of an Austin Healey in the side of the pickup truck.
Love it.
It looks really good.
Yeah, so, the gloss is hands down amazing.
So, I mean, I leave people with that. I mean, if you're going to keep the car, you want ease of maintenance. You're going to do the maintenance. You're going to wash it with the right stuff every 2 or 3 weeks. Or if it gets really junked up, if you go on a road trip, and even though you just washed it last week, wash the car.
Yep.
So the maintenance is the same whether you have polymer paint sealant on, a spray sealant on, wax on the car, or a coating. So where the coating fits is like, let's just say we did an Austin Healey. Now, I coated that car, but he drives the car and he really uses it. It's a 67 Austin Healey.
Yeah.
I've been caring for this car since he restored it, since 2003.
Wow.
I get it every May or June, and I get it once again back in November. Okay, for the put away, and it goes into a bubble.
Yeah.
Now, all these tools came out. I used to dream about it. I said, wow, because it's got a lot of curves on it. I says, man, I wish they made a tool to get into all these nooks and crannies. Well, now they do.
Yeah,
and so when I got all my Roops Nanos and the 75, and I got all these others, I was like, man, and I showed it to my client. He said, let it have it. And then we put a 2-part coating on it.
Yeah.
And I was like in my glory, because this is what one of my best clients, one of my favorite people to work for, great family, great guy. And I said, Jim, I'm going to lock myself in the garage tonight. I says, I don't remember the last time I did an all-nighter. I locked myself in the garage. I shut the shop down an hour early, and I stayed up all night. And I did a paint correction on his car. I put all the tools to work on it. I put a 2-part coating on that thing, and it looked just as good as when he first had that car restored and painted. And so today, now it comes in today, I washed the car off, and I put polymer paint sealant right on top of the coating. Everything is still there.
Yeah.
And it looks just like the day that I did it. Now, the thing is, that coating fits on the car. He doesn't baby the car either. If there's a car show, and he's going to drive to upstate New York, he drives the car there. It fits. That's the right car.
Yeah.
He goes up there and he can wash the car down. It's real easy for him to wash down.
Done. Ready for the show.
This guy's got a stack of trophies for that car. And
that's awesome.
yeah, it's really easy he loves it. It's good it's easy for him to maintain.
Yeah.
I've got clients that have daily drivers. They love to take care of their car. They love to wash it. Some of them wash it every week, and they enjoy it. They're car people. A coating is for them.
Yeah.
But somebody that doesn't have the time,
wash the car every 6 months
or whatever, you're going to go to the beater bar, wash.
Yeah.
No, you're wasting your money.
Right. Yeah, that's why I say they're not for everyone.
No, they're not for everyone. I don't think everything should get a coating, and because at the end of the day, you are just spending more money.
Oh yeah.
A
lot more money.
Yeah, a lot more money.
Yeah.
And so for some people, it doesn't fit their budget. But the other thing is, then they go, well, if all this could happen to the car, then people will rethink it. So for as many coatings as I put on, once I explain how the process works and what it does and does not do,
sure.
Exactly that many people and a few more do not get the coating put on,
sure.
because it's not for them. So we had an Audi, like I said, we did an estimate for one. The coating was never put on the car. It was bought brand new from the dealership. They never put it on.
That's crazy.
But
they paid for it.
And they paid for it. And also a coating's only as good as the installer.
That's right.
There's an order of operations, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just like detailing, we have there's a complete order of operations for detailing as well. The steps and procedures on how things should go together, and coating, very stringent rules for coating.
You'd be surprised, Joe, and you may be aware, but there are so many people out there that are installing coatings, and they almost do more damage than good. They don't. properly polish the paint, number one. As you know, if a car is coated without removing a good amount of the defects, they're going to pop out like a sore thumb. But then you have prepping the paint. You know, after polishing the paint out, it has to be prepped. Otherwise, the coating's sticking to polishing oils, not the paint system. So, again, and you know, that's something a lot of people don't realize. You know, a coating, realistically, you need the car for a full 24 hours, sometimes longer.
Yeah.
You know, and but yeah, there's a lot of people who you have to do your research, and this is where credentials come into play too. Make sure that if you get a coating somewhere, make sure you ask questions and make sure that detailer knows exactly what they're doing. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be throwing a lot of money away.
Yeah. When I get a coating in, like when I do a coating in my shop, because we do multiple things here, we've got a tool, an equipment for every conceivable detail situation. So when I get actually a coating job in, I only take, it's rare that I'll take 2 in a week, but I take 1 and I keep the car for 3 to 5 days. I have complete control because realistically it's taking that for the whole coating to truly cure into the surfaces. So I take complete control of that car or vehicle, and typically it's gonna, like a lot of times I'll just give them back to we're not open on Saturdays, but a lot of times I give them back to my client on Saturday because they've spent a lot of money, and then I want to take the time. One, I want to thank them, but I want to take the time to go over the complete job. We go over with a LED light. We show them the whole car, top to bottom. We show them everything that we did, and they can see the clarity of it. And then we go over the maintenance once again, and then we shake hands, and we're done from there. And they clearly understand their responsibility. Here at our shop, I don't get involved in any of the warranties or guarantees or anything like that, because truly the client and this guy, found out too, is that the company sells these coating packages to the dealership pays for it, so that it goes whatever it does, and then when you have a claim, it goes out to an insurance company, which is, because it's kind of like a 3-party thing, and it's really more like a hedge fund out there on Wall Street. And that's kind of like the reality of any extended warranty. Any extended warranty. And so I'm not a fan of that stuff. So the reason we don't sell them at our shop, I've never bought a warranty in my entire life, and I'm never going to sell one. So I'm not going to offer it to anybody. I just say, if you think you have a problem with something, just come back and see me.
And that's the thing. And like even the coating company I use, they have a phenomenal service system, absolutely 100% phenomenal. But I let my customer know if there's any issues whatsoever to contact me, because I want to take care of my own customers. I don't want somebody else being involved in taking care of my customers.
Yeah, I think it's just poor business.
Yeah, I agree.
It really is. It's like, you're my customer. I did all this work for you.
That's
you have a problem.
Here,
call these people over here.
Yeah.
They didn't put it on. They didn't do the work. So we take responsibility for everything in our shop. I've never had one return. I've never had one.
I haven't either. Back. Yeah. I've never had a problem.
And where I've gotten to really learn a lot of the coatings, because I have clients that we maintain their cars. We've been doing their cars. I got clients that we've been maintaining their cars
20 years.
15, 20, 25 years. I got a client, we're going to do them tomorrow, 31 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
31 years I maintain this person's car.
That's so awesome.
So, and then they get the coatings put on. Like I have a client, they love our work. They've been coming here. They every 8 weeks, they come here whether they need it or not. They have an appointment for maintenance, but they don't wash their car at all. They don't want to go to the car wash. They don't want to wash it. They just want to get in it and drive it. That's it.
Want to leave it up to
That's
Joe.
what they want to do, because I'm good with it. I ask them questions, and they love to get coatings. They get everything coated. They get the paint coated, the wheels coated, the glass coated. They get, we've got special treatments on these. I don't want to say coat the interior, but we get special treatments for the vinyl where the dust and dirt doesn't stick to it. It's really easy to maintain. And all that. So they get the whole ball of wax, and they love it. Okay? But they don't wash and vacuum the car. And in 8 weeks, they come back. And so every 2 years, we got them on a cycle that I got to clean up the car, and I got to clean up the coatings because they take them and they went out camping and the trees dripped all over the car and it was hot summer day. But did they wash it off? Now it wasn't pine pitch, but it was maple sap.
Yeah.
And they left it all over the car.
Ugh.
And then it baked in. And then I get the car. And guess what?
Yeah.
It's all in the coating because it just went, it just went like 5 or 6 weeks, no washing. The sun's real intense. But they know it. I explained all the parameters. So as long as they're good with it, then I just take the cars down. I just polish out the coating and we just recoat them every 2 years, whether they need it or not.
Wow.
And they're good with it. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they don't, that's what they do.
But some customers are just like that. They just, like you said, they just don't want to deal with it. They want to get it in and
they enjoy the service, and the car looks clean too. They keep the cars a long time though. They keep these cars 10 to 15 years. That's typically what they do. That's what their cycle has been. They keep their cars 10 to 15 years, and that's how they do it, and that's what they like.
They can keep them 10, 15 years because they're consistently maintained.
Yeah, they always look good. They do their maintenance, and it's just what they like. Now, for somebody else, that's not what they do. So we ask a lot of questions at our shop. How do you take care of your car? How do you want your car to look? And that's how we start coming up with the job. What job do we think is best for you? Right. Because look, how many ways could we put a job on? It's like that egg aisle in that milk aisle again.
Yeah. So if us detailers are asking you consumers tons of questions, we're not trying to annoy you. We're trying to understand what service may benefit you most.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, the pads, I've got a pile of used pads, and I've got a table that sits up in my shop, and they're all different sizes. They go from 6 inches all the way down to 1 inch. All the pads are there. So these are the pads that I'm reusing, or they go into multiple purposes, and then they hit the trash can. And so when I'm talking to them, I said, you see that table over there? That's just a sampling, because I have more stuff than that. I said, that's just a good sampling of the many different ways I can polish your car, the effects that I can put to that paint based on the whatever's going on the paint, and then your desires, your expectation level.
That's right.
So we take the time to go through, make sure people understand.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's all you need.
But coatings do last years.
The most important thing. What's that?
They do last years if they're put on properly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree.
So I got a client, one of my top clients, been coming to us for over 25 years. They got a Honda Odyssey, 2010 Honda Odyssey. That vehicle is driven to 49 states. Yeah. I do not see them. They'll be back. Well, they might be on a month delay because of the way this year was. Right. But they're in Florida for a good part of the year, and they travel all over the country. But they've always done a good job of getting that vehicle washed every 2 or 3 weeks or more on the road, finding a quality hand wash for their van. And then when they come up here, and they've done this even on the road, they've got a place in Florida, but they come up here, and then when they come up here, I take their van every 2 or 3 weeks. They're under the old guard. I've got these old programs of people I took care of in the neighborhood. I used to run and pedal bicycles around picking up people's cars once upon a time. So I still have a few people that have not yet left the program. They're still with me. But we put a ceramic coating on that. Actually, not even a ceramic coating. We put the G Technic EXO on there. And that's not really ceramic. I just call that the hydrophobic rubber sheet. You know, and it's really because you can put that on by itself. It's rated for 2 years.
Yeah.
That thing went 3 years on the vehicle.
Love it.
We put it on 3 years, and Dewey said, all right, let's just, and it still seemed like it was, because we maintained it, still seemed like it was working. So we put another.
Still cleans up easy and everything.
I just take my power washer and I turn the thing on. I don't even use any chemical. Everything comes flying off of the vehicle. Everything comes off. Everything comes off. The wheels. I hit the wheels. I just take a little bit of the, we have a little bit of the all-purpose cleaner. I don't even use a wheel cleaner. I actually take the G Technique all-purpose wheel cleaner and I spray that on. Everything comes off. We had coated the glass. I asked them, how's the glass on the highway? This thing still looks like a brand new vehicle. It still looks like a 2010. And they love it. And so about every 2 or 3 years, we go ahead and we just reapply the coating. We look at, some areas, we might just touch up the front or something like that because fronts take a battery.
That's when it's all worth it, though.
And they love it, and it fits them because they maintain it. But it does. It looks like a 2010. Yeah. Once again, I think this is out of 25 years, I think this is the third vehicle that they've had. In 25 years or plus, I've been working for them. So a lot of my regular clients, that's the other thing about maintenance. Like I'm going to take care of a Prius tomorrow. Let me see. This is the third vehicle that this person has had in 31 years. The first one was an 82 Volvo 240DL. And then it was an 01 Volvo, which I still take care of it.
I wish I could say that.
That one just goes to the airport. That one still looks like a 2001. And the other one, I got this 2007 Prius. Wow. And they're still under the old guard. I still go and I pick their vehicle up.
That's crazy.
And my best clients keep their vehicles a long time, and they've only had just a couple, 3 vehicles. Wow. They maintain everything. Mechanical, cosmetic, and they all look like brand new.
Like I said, that's why they've had them for so long.
Yeah. So I hope everybody got an understanding of ceramic coatings. Ask questions. See if it's right for you. If you go to purchase a new car or even a used car, we have a new client. They came down to have us do some work on their Mercedes. And I was actually applying a ceramic coating to a car that week when they came down. And he said, oh, yeah. He says, my wife's going to get this car, this Mercedes now. He says, I got this Charger. He bought a 2016 Charger. He says, oh, yeah, I got the ceramic coating on it. I said, you did? And I said,
dealership?
Yeah. And I said, well, I'm applying the ceramic coating over here. I said, your car look like this? He goes, well, no, not even close. I said, well, what's the matter? He says, well, it's all scratched up. They didn't polish it. It's an orange Charger. Or I don't know if it's a Challenger or a Charger, but it's one of those two. It's an orange one.
So they just laid the coating over
that
everything.
Orange Dodge. Yeah. They just put the coating right over. I'm going to test it. So when they drop off the Mercedes, he's going to bring the car down. We're going to have a look at it. I don't even know if they put it on, but I've seen this before. And we fixed it was a BMW early in the season, and it did have a coating on, and it was going back to the detail shop that put the coating on, and they drove an hour and 15 minutes to get to my shop because the detail shop over where they were put the coating on. They were going there for maintenance, and the car was all scratched to hell. And they put the coating on like 2 years ago, and they told him to put the coating on because the car wouldn't scratch. And then he washes his car. I saw his wash stuff. It was in the back of the car. He had all the right stuff. And I asked him how he washed the car. And he was washing the car. It appeared that he was washing the car properly. And then he was taking it back to the detail shop every 3 to 6 months. And then he just got fed up and he went looking around and he found me online. So he drove about an hour and 15 minutes one way down to my shop. And I looked at it and it was pretty horrific. So we fixed the car and we ended up putting polymer paint sealant on the car. And now he's my client. And now he's my client every 3 months.
Yeah. Once again, know what you're buying and do your research and ask a lot of questions in regards to coatings.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get a little bit long with clients, but I want them to understand what they're getting. Because it does upset me to see people take their hard earned money and
throw it down the toilet.
Not understand what they're purchasing or get had. So, well, that's one thing we do, whether, either way, we're always going to tell you like it is. We're going to, right from the heart, tell you the truth.
You have to. Integrity. Integrity is everything.
So that's really it. So for this is another week of Forever You Will Shine.
Yes. Any questions, you can either message us or post comments on the video. We'll be sure to respond. But again, it's been a blast. I love doing this with you, Joe and Kevin. Appreciate all your help.
That's right. And Kevin in the background. Where is Kevin?
Hey guys, I'm here.
There you go, Kevin. And thank you to Kevin Long from Movie Media. So anybody needs a website built, you need some social media assistance.
Does an amazing job.
Yeah. This young man's got a lot of talent. He's got an MBA from the University of Rhode Island, and he's got a very bright career ahead of him. So anybody needs some work, call Kevin Long from Movie Media. Movie Media.
Thank you both for that plug. I really appreciate it. And, again, I've always appreciated working with you, Joe, for the last few years, and always appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Lots of fun. I like everything you taught me about social media, too, though. You teach me a lot of stuff.
Happy to.
Who said a young man can't teach an old dog new tricks?
That's right.
Proven.
That's right.
Thank you both.
You're welcome. So, once again, forever you will shine. Be well to all. Good night.
Good night.